Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I'm getting ready to do some live PlayStation broadcasts. I figured I'd get on real quick and talk about the controversial topic of the day. The Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions, and many fans saying that the Detroit Lions got hosed. Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, both those calls were ticky-tacky. They shouldn't have been called. But when a referee is looking at it live, I can see why both were called. It was still up to the... Hold on, my mask is off center. Okay. It was still up to the Detroit Lions to stop the Packers. And on that second call, they were inside the 20-yard line anyway. And all they had to do was kick a field goal. So the Packers most likely still kick that field goal and win. The problem comes where fans start complaining about these ticky-tacky calls in the fourth quarter that end up screwing a team, and the NFL changes the rule, like after the NFC Championship game last year, with a pass interference call that was blatantly a pass interference but was not called, that ended up putting the Rams in position to tie the game and put it in overtime. But everybody blamed the refs for the Saints losing the game, even though they still went to overtime and Drew Brees still threw an interception. So a rule got changed. We now have pass interference is now reviewable, and the referees can't seem to get that right. Every time they go under the hood, they come out and confirm the call or keep the call the way it is. They're not overturning anything, basically negating the pass interference being reviewable and just costing the coaches a timeout. It was a knee-jerk reaction by the NFL. It was one play. Earlier in that game, that NFC Championship game, there was another defensive pass interference that wasn't called. It was blatant on the Saints. And it did not cost the Saints the ball. They still went to overtime, and Drew Brees still threw an interception. So knee-jerk reactions, getting all upset when a call doesn't go your way, blaming the refs. The refs are human. The more we review, the more we take the human element out of the game. There have been bad calls throughout history in the NFL. In the 1979 AFC Championship game, the Houston Oilers caught a touchdown pass that was called out of bounds, and there was no replay back then. In 1997, one of the plays that brought replay back, Vinny scored when only his helmet crossed the end zone for the Jets against the Seahawks, and the ball didn't. Plays happen, especially late in the game. Shame on the Lions after building a 13-0 lead, and then a 9-point lead later on in the game for letting the Packers get in a position to come back and win. Now, it's not fair, it's not right, but it happens. Teams get screwed all the time. Hell, the New England Patriots seem to get the benefit of the doubt all the time. Every team seems to get screwed against them. But nobody's going to go changing rules just to make everything reviewable. You cannot review everything. If you start reviewing every single penalty, we might as well be watching college football where the games are 4.5 hours, or a Boston Red Sox versus Yankees game. The game is over. Oh, and if you think the Packers benefited, why don't you remember the Fail Mary against Seattle a couple years back, when the replacement refs called a Hail Mary touchdown for the Seahawks, giving the Seahawks a win when it wasn't so. Anyway, I'm Vinny Vincent. That's my take. God bless America.